What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden. Another Hotel Edition episode this week. As you can see, I've got the nice watering can in the background here. You can really only see part of it, probably not all that well. And you're getting some different audio just because I'm using my webcam microphone, which is not that bad, all things considered. But there's going to be a little bit of background noise and lots of clicking and typing that hopefully I'll be able to edit out most of. So maybe you won't notice it, but also just some echoing, that kind of stuff. But the video should be pretty decent looking. I think the sizes are going to be a little bit different on some of the things because of the screen that I'm using. It's different than usual. But anyways, other than that, I think it's going to be a fairly normal video. My voice is fortunately back to mostly normal. There might be a little bit of coughing during the game, but those should be mostly edited out as well. So it's going to be a Lackey Grand Prix gameplay video, so fairly normal in that regard. This is now round 4 of Lackey Grand Prix 21, and we're going to be playing against Chad Frantz, who is also undefeated going into this round. So odds are both of us, based on, or either way how this game shakes out, odds are both of us are probably good for making it into top cut, although not necessarily, I guess. I think there was one time where I was undefeated going into the last round, lost, and then was like barely edged out by differential because my differential wasn't great. And my differential, I don't think was really all that great going into this game either. I think I was maybe plus 7 after 3 games, which isn't too bad, but I think it was 5-3, 5-3, 5-2. So so plus 7, which isn't too bad, but I think it could be caught up by somebody who hadn't had some 5-0 or 5-1 wins in their 3 wins, and then if I lose all that, anyways. This series I have been doing kind of a promo series, I guess, going with the new 2025 promos. We did a big Prince deck, or a deck that was focused on Prince and maximizing the ways in which you could use him. We did a deck with Samson that building around him, and there's a few other different ways to do it. But and then last week was the Darkness, and I kind of combined that with Hopper because I didn't really think that there was a way to build around Hopper easily, as far as like an actual deck that was Hopper specific, I guess. I was just like, we'll just play NT Lost Soul Unity, and it's not really worth making it its own deck. I mentioned that in the video last week, and then lo and behold, Brian has to come and message me after watching the video, and he's like, you can totally build a deck around Hopper. It's like the Soul Denial deck where you use the New Testament Hopper and you use Imitate, because Imitate says each upkeep you can copy the special ability of another NT Lost Soul for 1 round. You activate it as though you just drew the card. And so because there's now a New Testament Hopper, you can use Imitate on Hopper to give Imitate to your opponent. And so the general trend of this theme, I guess, is giving the Lost Souls to your opponent. And basically the end goal, or the primary goal, is to lock them out completely by getting rid of your Lost Souls. That means generally the way we're doing that is by exchanging Lost Souls with our opponent and then underdecking their Lost Souls that we exchanged for. And I was kind of like, I don't think it's really that viable of an idea. It's certainly possible to do, but as far as actually making it a competitive deck, I don't know. I was playing Judges a couple weeks ago, which I don't think is necessarily a competitive deck either, but it can be strong. It has some possibilities to work, so that could be a thing. But he was like, no, you can. I think you can work it out, figure it out. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I have some ideas. Initially, my direction that I was thinking of going was Crimson as kind of the base, because we've got, I think, just 2 evil characters in rotation that exchange Lost Souls. So we got Centurion at Jerusalem. You exchange your Lost Soul with opponent's Lost Soul. And then we have the new Nebuchadnezzar from Roots that also lets you do it. And I feel like Nebuchadnezzar is a little bit better because he's got lower numbers, so they're less likely to be able to play something to negate it. And then also it opens up some of the Babylonian like magicians, so some like pale green stuff, like conjurers is nice. You can just take Death of the Righteous from reserve. It's a good way to shuffle Lost Souls. And I was like, yeah, let's go the Crimson route. That seemed well and good. You could splash Prince in there pretty easily with, you know, Crimson goes well with orange, all that kind of stuff. And that was the route I was going initially, and I was like, you know what, I think actually gray would be better. One, because Moabites do a lot of soul hiding and shuffling, and you could also splash in cards like Annis the Elder a little bit more easily. And then, you know, just a hireling is also decent. Kind of fits in with the whole theme. So Centurion of Jerusalem is nice. Then Emperor Claudius kind of fit in well as well to give us a little bit of speed with Denarius. And then the Moabites work well with Subdued. Lets you shuffle all OT Lost Souls in your Land of Bondage. So if you get stuck with Imitate or Hopper, you don't get to shuffle those. But ideally, we're going to be trying to take Old Testament Lost Souls from our opponent, shuffle them away. Don't have to be Old Testament, because we also have cards like Tabara and Shield to shuffle them away. Then also just a hireling, and I guess Struggle Against All only does OT, but then Annis the Elder. So we've got plenty of ways to deal with New Testament Lost Souls as well. Burial also is one of them. When was the last time you saw Burial played in a non-Meek Lost Soul deck? Well, here we are. Also because, like, one of the main reasons I wanted to include Burial is because one of the main ways for people to generate Lost Souls these days is by creating tokens and putting them in your Land of Bondage, and tokens are Meek, so Burial being able to underdeck any number of Meek Lost Souls to get rid of all those tokens is quite nice. So Subdued is the way to shuffle, or probably the easiest way to shuffle. We've got a decent number of Moabites to help out with that. Make sure that that actually will work. Valiant Moabites is another way to shuffle. And then we got the Sons of Ariel in reserve to top deck up to OT Lost Souls. Ways to exchange Lost Souls. I mentioned Centurion of Jerusalem. We have the Wanderer, just kind of straight up exchanges itself. We have Covet that can grab one from their deck. We have High Places that can exchange if your Evil King, Prophet, or Priest blocks, which we've got Balaam as a Prophet, got King Balak as a Priest, we've got Emperor Claudius, as a king. We've got Emperor Claudius also as a king. We have Saul of Tarsus as a prophet, and then Annis the Elder in reserve is a priest. So we've got some pretty good options or availability, I guess, for High Places there. Basically means that every character in our deck is either enabling shuffling Lost Souls or underdecking them. I guess, you know, we do still have Prince and Splash in here because it's just good. Or enabling Lost Soul exchanging one way or another. And then the other Lost Souls here, Hunter, Disoriented, and Wicked, we're just kind of fill in, like Hunter, I mean, is obviously kind of just in here to get to Subdued. Wicked was one that I felt like would be helpful for soul protection, where you can play a Struggle Against Saul or just a hireling, regardless of protectabilities. Seemed pretty good. And then Disoriented, I was like, yeah, this is actually kind of interesting. If you're going to be resetting it, it's nice because you can shuffle it and then negate something else when it comes back out. But also, once you exchange it with a Lost Soul of your opponents, they can't play Son of God on it or anything. So it still remains in play. So when you put it in play, you select a card, you negate their card, and then if you exchange it, then they're not going to be able to get rid of it. It also gets around stuff like Resurrection Revealer or whatever that's negating opponents' neutral cards. Once you exchange it over to their territory, it's going to be more difficult for them to deal with. So you can turn off a card more indefinitely with that, which I thought was kind of cool. So then we've got Harvest Time to get our Lost Souls out, Falling Away to kind of help enable the means to victory here. As you can see, our offense is pretty small. The heroes enhancements are in one column here. The way that we're going to hopefully be winning this game is through Angel Party and or the Cross, some combination of those. I mean, I guess it doesn't really need to be a combination because if the Cross works, then you don't need Angel Party. So one or the other, but Angel Party might be is definitely the slower way to get there, but it might be a little more reliable. You do have to get a rescue win with the Cross, which actually isn't that difficult to do once you get it out, because if they don't have dominant interaction, basically you just need to make sure that you can choose the blocker with Simon, and we're getting all of this out of the reserve with Concealed Riches, by the way. Golgotha, the Cross, Simon if you need it, if you don't have Angel from the Sun still, Then you can also grab Angel Party just for good measure, just in case. And then Faith of Gideon, I feel like, is probably the best option for a cross win here. Simon chooses the blocker. You play Faith of Gideon, have some other evil character fight Prince of the Air, and then you underdeck their blocker, probably also Prince of the Air, and you could underdeck Faith of Gideon to try to do it again if you need to. If for some reason the cross is negated, maybe they have a negate neutrals or something that you can't deal with. I don't know, but underdeck that with Prince too. There you go. And then I guess, I mean, that's kind of the dream. You do have to wait for your opponent to deck out. You do also have to deck out yourself, which can be a little bit tricky to actually get there. But if you can establish a lock and lock your opponent out, you're basically just going to be passing the turn quickly, without really even taking up that much time. So it's just kind of about keeping your opponent on time and hoping for the best. A little bit tricky to actually pull off, but that's why you want the cross in here instead of just relying on Angel Party, because you can win the game in one turn instead of 3, or however many after, if you need to use like Second Coming on defense or something to go for another crowd's choice or something like that, or something rash like what I do in the game. Foreshadowing, spoiler alert. Anyways, another option for rescuing here is Gabriel to just get stone rolled away back every turn. It's not the best option, but I mean, it was a clay silver battle winner. I was like, it's kind of works. And then Gabriel can just go into chamber. I wanted Resurrection Revealer to turn off my opponent's neutral cards, because that's the way that lots of Lost Souls are generated. So Hopper, Lost Souls, Harvest, if I can turn those off, then it definitely will make things easier for me. However, I also want my own neutral cards to be unimpeded, and so I initially did have Mary of Bethany in here. She's the one that negates other characters and territories, and I was kind of thinking, okay, I have to kind of find a balance between, do I negate their characters and territories, their negate neutrals characters, or do I have mine active as well? I figured that I had a decent number of ways to deal with heroes and territories, and I did put Confusion of Mind in here as well to help deal with that. So I think that this was the right way to go. Plus I had cards to cut. I got it down to 51. So that was, well, I got it down to 50, and then I got into the game with Chad, and he was like, hey, you've got a 16 card reserve. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to cut out the cards from that I was planning to, and I couldn't remember if there was one more card that I cut, so I just moved one of them to the deck. So I played it at 51 cards in the deck and 10 cards in reserve. And so yeah, we had to make some cuts here. Hopefully early on I can get some Matthew drawing with Blood of the Lamb, Generous Giving. If they have hand protection, then hopefully Just a Martyr can kind of fill in a little bit there. It is kind of nice if I can get to Matthew, if I can play Blood of the Lamb, and then Matthew's discarded, then I can use Just a Murder to get Blood of the Lamb back and have a little bit more drawing. I do need to be able to deck out, remember, in order to use the cross, so having a little bit of speed is nice. Also, it's good to just get the combo pieces set up early, because if your opponent gets off to a fast start and you're just kind of playing catch up here, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Fortunately, the nature of hiding Lost Souls, shuffling Lost Souls, is that you might have a turn or two where your opponent doesn't have an option to generate a Lost Soul to attack, so they can buy you some time, but still, you generally want to be drawing cards and getting the combo actually set up here. At least that was kind of my approach to it. So yeah, I kind of mentioned the defense already. Another option that we have for the side battle, let's say that Prince gets dealt with earlier in the game, I could do Faith of Gideon, choose Saul of Tarsus, and then Saul can take Curse Their Parents from reserve, and then I can play Curse Their Parents to discard all cards in battle. Felt like that was a pretty decent option as well. Just kind of have to do like Simon. Ideally, I can set it up with Falling Away. You play Falling Away before you activate the cross, remember? And then your hero is converted, you activate the cross, you go with Simon, choose, and then make sure you can win that way. If you still have Stone rolled away, then you can also just do it that way. But I just felt like that was another good option to have for Faith of Gideon, since none of the other evil cards in here really do much against other evil characters. So that's where Curse Their Parents fit in. Of course, if you just choose their hero to be in a brigade that they don't have, then you can just put in a big evil character, like Emperor Claudius or something. But yeah, anyways, that is pretty much everything with the deck. Goliath's Curse was another way to deal with some of the pesky protection cards, like if I need to get around deck protection, or maybe a Res Revealer and I can get rid of one of their Gospel Angels or something, so it's off, then Goliath's Curse can negate it. I've got Endless Treasures in here to help out with getting some of these, like Peter's Curse and Confusion of Mind out. Goliath's Curse, just a good outlet in reserve. I thought about having Madness in here, but I figured that Goliath's Curse would be a little bit more flexible, that not just hitting heroes, I can also hit fortresses and that kind of stuff. Maybe deal with a wall of protection or something that Simon can get through. I mean, I've got Satan C for that too. But anyways, that is the deck. Don't want to spend any more time than that on the explanation here. I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about some spoilers that we got this past week. One of them, well, I guess going on theme with the video, I should have started with the new seasonal promos and stuff. We'll get to the promos, but first, we've got a Times to Come spoiler that was hidden deep in the recesses of Land of Redemption here, back in an article from 2015. It was modified. This was John Early's Type 1-2 Player Nationals 2015 first place deck that he used in this, and it was kind of a throwback to now 10 years ago when he won Nationals with a Greek lockout style defense that featured Arresting Gethsemane, Stoic Philosophers to keep it around, all that stuff. If you want to check out the article, it's over on Land of Redemption. Just search for the title of the article. But now hidden down here, he edited the article to add this new spoiler, this new Times to Come card, which I'll go ahead and make it a little bigger here for you to see. But Abomination of Desolation, this is one that I think people have just been waiting for the comeback. The rotation version of this card, the Scrolls version of this card, was a black enhancement that had the effect that you placed it in opponent's territory, I think, or was it in your territory? I don't know. But either way, it was if an opponent draws because of an ability, discard a card in their territory. So the idea was you get this in play, it's placed, and then you try to you force your opponent to draw cards so you can snipe stuff in their territory. This was paired oftentimes with a gold offense, because like New Testament gold, because the theme there was often like a mutual drawing or forced drawing, where like kindness is a card in rotation that it's each upkeep, each player draws or must draw one. Areopagus, however you want to say it. Areopagus, I think. Yeah, because the A and the E comes before the R. Anyways, is another card that's each upkeep, each player draws a card. So if you can build around this effect, where you can basically just you give your opponent one card, you get one card yourself in a lot of the cases, but you get to discard something in their territory of your choice. Seems pretty good. It's kind of a Priest of Zeus effect, except it works even when you force your opponent to draw, which is pretty sweet. It also, like, that was the old school ability. It has that ability, but it also is now an artifact and says you may reserve this card to discard a hero. So if you, let's say that your opponent is, their deck is protected or something, so you can't really force them to draw, or they just have a particularly pesky hero that you want to deal with, you can use that first part of the ability, reserve it to discard a hero, but then you just, you don't get the secondary effect unless you have a card to get it out of reserve, like Endless Treasures, perhaps, where you can just get an idol or a curse from your reserve. It seems like that's going to be a pretty easy and fun thing to do. Endless Treasures with Shrine to Artemis, A-Bomb, maybe Goliath's Curse, things like that. And perhaps we'll see some other new cards that will be able to pull this out of reserve, pull idols out of reserve, or pull Daniel cards or Daniel artifacts or something out of reserve. So I'm pretty excited to be building around this card. Building around Greeks in general should be fun. Alexander the Great is another rotation card that has that mutual draw effect. So yeah, this should be a fun one. Next up, with following with the theme of promos for this year being released. Unfortunately, we don't have David the Unifier on Lackey yet. Otherwise, I would happily have built a deck around him because I think this card is kind of cool. Should be fun. It's a mono purple. I'm a little sad that it doesn't have green. I would have loved to have a purple green David that actually does things. I used the starter deck one in a deck it was kind of built around David, and I wanted him to be green because called the prophecy and that kind of stuff. And if I had a version like this, that would have been sweet. That would have been awesome for that deck. But alas, here we are with a mono purple David, David the Unifier, warrior class 10-12. All the identifiers of David. And he says, if equipped, you may take a good OT human warrior from deck. May ban to a second Samuel warrior, cannot be negated. So those are two separate abilities here. If equipped, you get to do the first part, taking a good OT human warrior from deck. Doesn't have to be a second Samuel warrior, just has to be an OT human warrior. And then the second part here is may ban to a second Samuel warrior. So has to be specifically second Samuel. You can search for the same, or you can ban to the same one that you search for because search goes to your hand and ban defaults to play or your hand. And then if equipped part, I think is not that bad of a stipulation. I think it's pretty easy to get a weapon early for David, especially in that style of deck where you're probably playing David's Harp. I think probably you can grab I Am Refuge. You can use Buckler to get one of them. Unfortunately, if you use like an Angel of the Winds or something to exchange for David, you don't get to equip anywhere in between there. But you also have cards like Azahel, who you can equip him. The weapon will stay when you exchange for David. You can then use David to search for Azahel again. You can't ban back to Azahel to do another exchange, but you can do that, generally speaking, if you don't use Azahel to exchange it first, in which case David actually just gets to then exchange with any purple hero, or purple warrior, I guess, warrior class hero in your deck. Maybe it has to be OT. I don't think there are any NT ones anyway, but so let's say you do, David, you can go for Azahel, ban to Azahel, maybe exchange with like King Jehu or Jehoshaphat or Jotham or something like that. Some of those purple warriors that aren't second Samuel. I'm also pretty excited to use him with Zadok, the clay priest. What's his a positive, I think is what it's called, right? Or I don't know the descriptor. Zadok, the anointer, is it? I don't know. Anyways, the clay priest one that draws 2 and you can reserve a card from hand and negate enhancements. That seems pretty cool with David, other than the fact that he's just like Zadok's going to negate whatever weapon Zadok's equipped with or David's equipped with. But I think a purple clay OT deck would be pretty sweet, where you got warriors and priests, and should be cool. I'm excited to try out David. Should be a fun one here. And then also, speaking of promos, we got some national promos that were spoiled. I should start with this one, I suppose, because it was spoiled first, and it is the 3rd place national promo. This is Murderous Command. This is pretty sweet. Somebody did comment on Discord about the cactus logo coming out of his nose here, which is a little bit funny, but probably won't be as noticeable on the card itself. I assume maybe it won't be on the card itself at all. I don't know. Are they putting the logo on the actual cards? I don't think so. So anyways, this is just on the digital art version that's released. It's got the little trademark on there. So anyway, Murderous Command is a starter deck dominant that we hopefully all know what it does, but we get this awesome new art here, and like just the colors, especially with the evil dominant symbol now, the way that changed, and like it, I feel like the color scheme just really worked out. You got the white pants, or I don't know, are those pants tunic thing, or I don't know what you call that, but I'm gonna stop talking about his clothes. But the white just goes well with the ability box and everything. I think it just worked out pretty cool. His eyes are a little bit funky here. You kind of get a little bit of the AI generated leftovers, but I think overall they did pretty good with kind of touching up how this works. And he looks super relaxed. His eyes just a little bit like he's staring into your soul, and he doesn't really need that right eye. He can just stare into it with the left eye. So I think this is going to be a cool one. Definitely going to be sought after because I think, no offense to Warrior Overtaken, but Murderous Command is a little bit more flexible and usable. You get a Malachite Slave, you got Foreign Wives, Queen T, Egyptian Rebel has been a favorite of mine recently. So I think Murderous Command definitely has more flexibility. And then we also got the second place promo for Nationals, spoiled here, 20 shekels. This was one that I kind of forgot that it was like, oh yeah, that's one that I want to see in national promo form. But I think to guess it when they were doing the guessing games on Discord, fortunately Tim thought about it and decided to guess it, so it got spoiled here. And I should give credit to Rob M as well. He was the one who guessed Murderous Command, got that spoiled for us. So 20 shekels is one that I'm pretty excited for because it's a card that I really like to use, and it's also from IR. Israel's Rebellion, which means that it has the thick white border on all the versions that are available on paper. So I was like, that's like the most ideal candidates for special promo treatments like this. I think are going to be the cards from IR that get used the most. So like maybe we'll see Storehouse as the first place one. As of the recording of this, it hasn't been released yet. Maybe we'll see it sometime in the next week, but it sounded like they weren't planning to spoil it right away the next day. These were like the past couple days. So anyway, 20 shekels, pretty excited about that one. Just gotta go win the category at Nationals, I guess. In order to do that, I might have to pick up some cards to build my decks. I don't know yet for sure. Haven't set on what decks I'm going to be playing, but if I do need to pick up any cards, I'm going to head over to Your Turn Games and purchase them as singles, and I recommend that you do the same. And you also can pre-order the new set Times to Come. The special deal that he had going on up until this past Monday, I think it was, is no longer available. If you missed out on that, you missed your chance, but you can still pre-order the set and sign up to get it basically at the earliest possible opportunity if you're not able to make it to Nationals. Presumably there will be some for purchase available at Nationals. I don't know that we've got 100% confirmation on that yet, but that's what's happened the last few years. But if not, then, well, you're going to want to pre-order from Your Turn Games. They are a sponsor of this channel. We are proud to support them, good friends of mine. So thank you to them for supporting this content, and let's go ahead and get into the game with Chad. Oh, which, by the way, I should mention is just going to be me talking, so sorry it's been a little bit of a long intro, and you've already got a lot of me talking going on, but Chad and I just did text chat for our game, so we don't have his audio, but you do have kind of some of my commentary and my lament and joy and all those different emotions that will come through a little bit more than if I was just talking with someone and trying to keep my strategies to myself. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the game. Enjoy. All right. Well, we got a Centurion early. Nice. At harvest time. Just to get things set up. And I won the die roll. I think I'll go first, right? No stars. Unfortunately, every time I hit shift, the card preview thing goes up, so I'm not really sure how to fix that. So I think we're just gonna have to deal with that. No need for Spice's Star. Top deck economic from deck. Okay, he's grabbing his card's choice. Could harvest time before his turn just to save. No, probably not. Let's do that one. On Tabara. Go grab for Claudius. Discard Denarius. A little time there just in case you wanted to ask for domination or something. But question is, should I just play Harvest Time now? I think so. So that way I can get Wanderer going. Let's go for 4. That way I can do everything but Hopper. Let's do his deck first. Alright, so Prosperity, well, it's probably coming out. Don't really want to do Orphans. Do Lawless. Can imitate that, it's kind of fun. I don't care too much about crowds. I don't care too much about Complacent. Don't really want him to craft his hand though with Shepherds and Grumbled. So that's 1. I guess I should have just done 3. I don't really want to do Covet. But oh well. Maybe I should have just grabbed Hopper instead. But alright, so then that's discarded. That's nothing, that's nothing. Put Disoriented on Crowds, I guess. I guess we probably just attack in with Matthew. Right? Yeah. Well, let's do Angel from the Sun, because that way, if he does anything before battle that protects his hand, I can pivot and go to Justin Martyr. And we'll take Complacent. Like, I probably should have looked more at the deck that he was playing. He wants to get my Hopper up into what I got going on. I do get to Tabara here, which is nice. Put my Covet back. Oh, I could just shuffle his just Complacent right away. Yeah, probably do that. I do have Burial for Complacent though, but if I shuffle Complacent, and then if I shuffle Complacent, oh, but you put Orphans into play. So I should have just gotten Orphans and negated with Disoriented. Huh. Unfortunately, when he puts Shepherds and Grumbled into play, he gets to throw away some cards that are at higher brigade count. But I kind of wonder if Matthew is even worth it. I mean, still, I guess to see his hand is good. Okay, so I don't get to use Tabra because of Orphans. It's unfortunate. Alright, so do I go for Matthew or do I go for Justin Martyr? So that way I get guaranteed to be able to have Blood of the Lamb available. He's playing Herod's though, right? So if he's got like Herod's Guard or any other way to Herod the Great, then Justin Martyr isn't great anyway. So let's just get Matthew going. Alright, well, we still get a decent amount here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was definitely better than Justin Martyr. Alright, so Outsiders, we'll be able to underdeck 1 or draw 1, and an Archelaus. Also decent. Did not go to deck. No. Draw 6. Alright. Well, not bad. So Archelaus comes down, I'm assuming. And Stone Rolled Away is not going to get the job done. unfortunately. Draw. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oak. Outsiders dies. Do Shield. Put down Balaam. I don't really want to show that, but that's probably fine. The orphans, though, that's maybe annoying. Like, I almost wonder if I Second Coming to Son of God to get that right now. Because otherwise I need, Resurrection Revealer? I got 25 cards left in my deck, though. Gotta play fast. We're going for it. I don't know. I don't know if that was smart or not, but I feel like we want to make plays happen. You know, gotta get that complacent out of here. I mean, like, I had time. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that he can wander for my subdued, but I guess if he does, then I can wander for another one of his Lost Souls, and then it's kind of achieving the goals. So if he wanders back for anything other than Covet or for Complacent, then that kind of helps set things up. Now the gig's up, though, I feel like, because that kind of desperation play for taking out an Orphans, like, he knows that whatever I'm doing, I'm manipulating Lost Souls. I don't think he saw Centurion at Jerusalem, though, so that might be good to... I don't know if he's, like, quite tip-top to exactly what we're doing yet. It's not just about hiding Lost Souls. It's about deleting them from my deck. The thing about Wanderer is, like, if you're not used to playing it, then it's not something that you generally think about. Like, you're not really looking at your Lost Souls in your prep phase. So, like, that's why I was about to go to battle there without remembering to do it. Like, I thought about it earlier on when I first put it in play, and I was like, oh, okay, I can use Harvest Time, get out some Lost Souls to exchange for. But after Harvest Time, I almost forgot about it. Alright, Mary coming down. A couple of artifacts. I don't remember if he had any artifacts in his hand when I looked at it. I don't think so, so I guess he drew into those. I think this is the Last Stand, right? I looked a little bit at that deck, or it's kind of like a combination of Soul Surfer and what's the other one? Not Purple Heart. Soul Surfer and Starstruck. He's like using all those stars to get to his Harvest Time and that kind of stuff. And him not having anything to like play a Lost Soul from a deck or whatever, or having really any of his Lost Souls in the opening hand was kind of nice, because then he wasn't able to grab his Crowd's Choice off the top. Alright, the Manger. That's kind of annoying. It hits both, or either Shield or Tabra. Oh! I had Satan's Seat. Oh, Jaden. Oh my gosh. Why did I? Oh my gosh. Oh, excuse me as I die in anguish over here. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yeah, battle I think is okay. Does he play Matthew in this deck? I don't think so. Probably like Mary or something. He's going to. Or Magi, sure. Yeah. Can't believe that I messed that up. Alright, so enunciation to negate things is kind of annoying. It's probably going to get initiative. It gets to search for a dominant. It can't be negated, so exchanging doesn't really make sense here. So let's just go with Deceiver. And doesn't have that. Prince is just 1. Yeah, there aren't like any super great options here. I mean, like I could just do Balak and then get a subdued trigger, then I have to give up one of those. So yeah, it's not really great. No, I can't go to Prince with that. That'd be dumb. Let's do. Huh. You're just gonna negate stuff. Yeah, that was not the best block. I can do Balak and then I get initiative and I get to play what? Nothing. Pretty much. Okay, yeah, let's just do Moab. And then we'll get Balak into play. I don't know. Kind of wish that I kept naming in here. He was in the list at one point. Gosh. Can't believe I missed that. I'm gonna kick myself for the rest of the game. Rest of the day. I mean, there's not much left of the day, but I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh gosh. Probably should have just done Claudius and then just made him play it basically. In big numbers. Never heard what's going on and making him think. So that's good at least. Lost child found. I guess I just negate it with stricken, right? Oh, right, the major triggers. It is a May, but that's alright. It's Moab and seat. Alright. Can play Mask of Pride, but he'll probably negate it and then just get draw. Or I'll just have to put the draw back, so. Yep. Okay. So we gotta think about our options here. So if we do use Subdued, we do get down 1, but then we have to give up either Imitate or Hopper, which means that we're up 1, basically. No, let's just let it happen. He's just being bounced. We'll give up Hunter. Okay. Alright, we got the Concealed Breeches. We got Matthew again, so that's kind of nice. Love is negated, so just go back to battle. And I did say and see was negating crowds too. Alright, this time it's only 3. Now it's Archelaus. Oh, no. Repeating. Okay. 4, 6. Yeah, I guess he does get initiative there. Duplicity. Okay. I don't think I have any triggers on any of that. Unfortunately, we can't woes because complacent is still around. But that's alright. We got that out of the way. And now predating rulers is in play for a good Simon target. Moab, don't get a search, but alright. Question is, do we woes a manger? Like, I want to be able to get my hopper out and complacent out. He's got some doms, but is he going to be searching is a question. Nah, let's just wait. We'll see if he reactivates it. Put something else down, maybe. I don't even know if woe should be good or evil. Is he playing any negate neutrals in here? I don't think he has Res Revealer. Probably should have looked when I was looking through his deck, but he's got Wheat and Tears though, so he's got at least some angels. But I mean, like that's really just in there for the star ability. Yeah, see, I would have gotten it already. Search trigger on Shield. Yeah, I think I do need to do that. That's rough. Where is the Reassuring Angels when you need it? They didn't take Angel Party though, so we still got that going for us. I think we play woes is good to avoid it getting married away. Problem is now we can just activate something else. A little unfortunate, but the thing is we do still have Matthew. I guess an evil woes might have been better. Well, it's like Herod's Temple can be an issue at some point, but I guess by the time I'm going in for cross stuff, he's not going to have anything to reserve with Herod's Temple, so fine. Herod's Guard, yep. Alright, just falling into that trap. If he plays a good dominant, if he plays Crowd's Choice, then we can. Oh wait, I guess we gotta wait till my turn. That's fine though. The question now is, wait a second. So he can just imitate my hopper and give it back. This plan is dumb. I told you this was dumb, right? I mean, like, the plan might work, but I don't think we needed the hopper imitate to do it. Like, it would have been better just to have no hopper, no imitate, and complacent, or I don't know, prosperity. Another OT Lost Soul, because that way Covet would work and Subdued would work better. Yeah. So at some point, I have to reset my hopper and then play Son of God on it in a later phase. That's funny. Alright, here's the good Crowd's Choice. So I think we shuffle hopper, we underdeck complacent. Let's see what he's getting with woes here. Basically, if he. Okay. So complacent stays out. And then the second Tabra trigger will shuffle complacent. Alright, and then we got 2 triggers on that this turn. And then seems like it's working. Now eventually we'll get to one want to try to swap Disoriented over to his Land of Bondage, and that way I can basically keep him from using his dominance on Disoriented. Ooh, here comes the cross. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of a bummer. Here comes some Herods. He wants hand disadvantage. Alright, so if he attacks, I think we try to get the switcheroo with Centurion going. Be nice to have Falling Away backup, but don't have a way to deal with that. We deal with the cross. I guess actually I could block with Claudius and I get the switcheroo with High Places. Alright, negating shield again. Negate and reserve an evil card or an artifact. Okay. No need for spices. Other option is I block with Balak. I get the High Places trigger. And yeah, no. I'll just. I guess if I. Oh no, he's negated. Okay. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Let's just block with Claudius. And we'll take. Alright, so do I play Mask of Pride and then Self-Destruction, or just Self-Destruction? I guess I can negate, puts me in Special Initiative twice. It's not great. Fortunately, the interrupt will interrupt that search, so he doesn't have whatever he searches for. Having woes down is pretty clutch, so I can negate cross now. On my turn, so I can exchange and play Burial. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Wonder if he's going to target Claudius or not with that. Depends on how many characters he has to ban to, I guess. Anywhere of NT heroes. Okay. So you have Gabriel to negate Claudius or something. Getting in my Matthew. No, we need Matthew. Just tossing the next. Starting evil dominance. I don't need Matthew that badly. Got 6 cards in hand. Alright, now looks like it's working. Nice. Banish up to 3 good cards from a discard pile. We'll do. What can you get back with things? We'll do John. Yeah, because Resurrection. I don't know if he plays Resurrection, but discarding Wheaton Tears from his hand. Okay. Get to send over the Hopper. Well, that's. Wait. I'm not going to get to Son of God my Imitate because. Or my Hopper because. Or Imitate, I guess, because I already played it. Oh, gosh. You silly goose. Alright. Now we go for that one. He's got 22 cards left in deck. I think we just passed turn. Right? Yeah. Oh, I suppose now that all his Lost Souls are out, shuffling coming back doesn't really do anything. Oh, I guess Complacent is still in there. Ooh, there's Guardian. Glad to see that going to the bottom. That's right. Guardian. I mean, I guess in theory, aside from Imitate, I do have the lock right now if I play Burial. But if he just plays 1 good dominant this turn, takes Possessing Spirit, he's gonna have some choose the blocker shenanigans. Is that the Possessing Spirit has to be on a card in a territory? Oh no, it's just on a good card. Oh, so it can be on Chamber. Man, woes is good. So if we can land, and his Mary is in discard pile. So if we can land the Resurrection Revealer, we gotta find that. Turn off Imitate and Hopper. Well, I guess just Imitate. Or no, it's just negate opponent's neutral cards, right? So it wouldn't actually negate Imitate. Oh, that's so silly. That's so silly. Woes on Balak. So yeah, my territory class characters are back on now. He's gonna get to activate the Manger. Oh, okay, 20 shekels. Cool. Oh, he probably could have bounced Balak and then used 20 shekels. Or, yeah, used Woes on something else. Yeah, if he doesn't draw any extra cards, then that's 6 turns. How much time do we have left? 20 minutes? Come on, Chad, go fast. Alright, Deceiver down. Well, fortunately, I don't have Sheol anymore, so it's not breaking Unity. So if he doesn't attack, or if he doesn't protect Lost Souls, or attacks with a lone hero, I can do Deceiver to this guy, top deck these, and play Falling Away. Seems good. Oh, that's funny though. If he does play Possessing Spirit on Chamber, I don't think he can choose it to block because it's in set aside. I guess he could put it on 3 woes though. So, fair enough. Oh, okay. Puts it on Chamber. So that's negated. Unless my Resurrection Revealer is going to be negated. The other option is I could Balak, switch my Covet with Subdued, and then let him die. That's actually a pretty decent option here. Alright. I don't have any meek heroes left to do the cross, do I? That Feudal Inquisition star. So he played both of those. So I got 1 Lost Soul on deck, 1 Lost Soul in play, and then an Imitate Hopper. Alright, he just faces the turn. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I can do that. That's awesome. Okay, nothing's negating my neutrals. Cool. I good woes on shekels. Oh, I could just put it on Imitate, I suppose. Yeah. Do I keep the fact that I've got Patmos for rainy day? He doesn't have any way to negate it at speed, right? I mean, yeah, maybe. Well, here's the thing. Even if I don't get the win, at the very least it'll be a timeout lost. So I feel like that means that I'll still be able to get myself into Top Cut. Yeah, he figured it out. Unfortunate. I mean, he may have been thinking he could do that all along. I just decided to finally do it now, but maybe I should have just woes to imitate. Doesn't want me to be able to switcheroo. Yep, putting the cross back up. Now it's on Golgotha. Manger coming up to negate Balak. Winds coming to battle. Mary, yep. Makes sense. So you have confusion of mind. Okay, so guess we just block with Centurion and grab. Alright, that worked out well. Chad's gonna be sad about that one. Alright. Okay, I get that, and then okay. Wheeler's negated. Possessing Spirit. I think we should just do this. And I think we should just play Burial now. We could wait until. Yeah. I feel like I should just try to rescue here because we're running out of time. Alright. Put those things down. Pass a turn. We got to 2. If we can hold Chad at 2, we're good. But I mean, he's going to get at least one more off of Imitate to Hopper and Son of God. And I still have a Covet that no longer does anything because he's got a Complacent, or all his lost souls are out. He got his Complacent back. Man, I have 3 cards left and one of them is Covet. That's sad. Super sad. The other funny thing now is that if in my upkeep I Imitate Hopper and then move Woes to Imitate, then it'll come back to me. Right? I'm pretty sure that's how. I don't think Copy has like any inherent CBI rules, right? Chad's kind of figuring out he's locked out. Yeah, so Resurrection Revealer doesn't even negate it. Oh man. Alright, well, we, after the timer went off, it was Chad's turn before he attacked, so we just called last round there. He probably would have gotten a block anyway, so I mean, at best he gets to 4. I think I probably have good blocks for him though. If we go one more round, for me at best, I get to 3, I guess, maybe. Because like, can do Faith of Gideon to Frantz, and then try to do it that way. But if he puts a hero down, I do have. Well, I don't have a way to bounce Simon. that's kind of funny. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we got there sort of with the combo, but we didn't actually get to win the game. But I mean, I'll take the timeout loss. I feel like, it did all right. Imitate Hopper, probably not worth it. Probably just put a different OT loss hole in there, but yeah. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Thanks, Chad, for the game, and we'll catch you all next time. Have a good one.